All right, welcome back to another episode of Undrafted Amateurs. We are remote because I am lame and got sick, so that's fun.
Yeah.
But
hopefully you didn't get me freaking sick.
yeah, you would like that. And exciting news that's taking the world by storm. Your gut wasn't you having to go to the bathroom. Could have still been it, but Taylor Alison Swift was at Arrowhead. And my, oh my, did it take the world by storm.
I never knew that was her middle name.
I'm pretty sure it is. That was not off notes. That was just off the top of the head. So
Oh wow.
let's hope. We've added some Swifties.
Dude, I read an article that said Patrick Mahomes felt nervous to get Travis Kelce a touchdown.
Yeah.
Because he knew Taylor Swift was
You had to
coming.
get him a tutty. You had to.
How funny is that? Like no, this is not like a rec league game.
It
like-
kind of looked like one.
Yeah.
Bears should have just done
Dude,
everyone a
that's
favor
crazy.
and forfeited after the touchdown.
Crazy.
All right, so we've got that going on. We had a little weekend away, and you have a new ambition in life.
Oh yeah, I want one of those ATVs.
Little like
Like a
UTVs,
mule and just to drive it. I just want to
floating
drive
on a
it
cloud,
around.
dude. Sell your company, buy that
Joe
now.
rode with me on this mule thingy, and he got nervous. Joe got nervous.
Very nervous.
I don't know why though.
Who
I
knows?
don't know why, but he got very nervous, and we had a little weekend away down near where I grew up, which was fun, and we didn't really do much, which was great.
It was honestly delightful.
Yeah. It was delightful and also yet scary because when you're driving a vehicle at high speeds like I was, you can't make mistakes.
Yeah, good thing you are precise. If I would say anything about you, I would say that you are precise, elegant, risk tolerant.
Sexy.
And don't get ahead of yourself.
Yeah.
Don't get ahead of yourself. But
Okay.
other thing that happened this weekend, South Carolina, 2-2, best 2-win team in the nation now. Our DBs. So we've had good defensive backs for the last, even when we were terrible, it seems like we've just always had good defensive backs. And we gave up 200 yards to this guy like in the first 2.5 quarters. It was brutal. Very bad. Like one receiver. I'm not talking about the quarterback. I'm talking about one receiver. You would think Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson were lined up against us, but no, it was just Mississippi State. So that was brutal. But South Carolina covered. We're climbing. We're climbing, dude.
Thank goodness, man.
Thank goodness.
Because I don't know what I'd do if South Carolina missed a bowl game.
Yeah. Because you've gone
can't
through
think about
years of being a South Carolina fan, the ups and the downs, the torture, and to the point where you're like, why do we do this as a sports fan? And then somehow you do it a little bit again.
The ups and the downs and the all
The torture that happens.
Yeah, but I will say that being a big Gamecocks guy, our quarterback looks pretty good.
He looked nice, throwing his first incompletion, and what was it, like midway through the fourth quarter? Kind of like Tua.
It was crazy.
Well, okay, before we get into Tua,
Yeah.
we got to talk about the Ryder Cup. You go first. Do your little golf talk.
Which happened this weekend, dude. Starts on Friday. So a couple things with the Ryder Cup. Like the format is, if you're not familiar with it, alternate shot, one of the formats, best ball, right? Another format, and then Sunday singles. So Friday, they'll do a mix of alternate shot best ball, Saturday, mix of alternate shot best ball, and then Sunday singles, which gets everyone a little nervy. A couple crazy things, though. U.S., so we won the last World Cup 2 years ago.
Yep.
And we won 19-9, crushed it. It was the largest margin of victory since 1967, I believe. But the problem is we haven't won in Europe in 30 years. 1993 is the last time that the U.S. beat Europe on European soil for the Ryder Cup.
That's a minute.
So I'm not feeling too good about this one from an American standpoint. And you know I'm a slut for Americans. But I'm not feeling too good because we have a lot of new guys, new talent, which is great.
Your boy Justin
But
Thomas.
the European side has a lot of talent with experience, which makes me a
Dude,
little nervous.
imagine if Brooks wasn't
So,
allowed to
I
play in
don't-
this one. Just imagine the U.S. team if Brooks is on the sideline. That'd be brutal.
He's never lost singles. I think he's like 2 or 3-0
Dang.
in singles. But Brooks is. So let's just say I'm not if I'm a betting man, and I am on Sundays,
We're talking.
some Saturdays,
Sometimes you reach double digits. That might be a problem.
I would not bet on the U.S. here, but I've been wrong before.
Yes, you have. We'll get into that in a minute. You were getting better reversing it, and then there were some unfortunate things that went your way. But before that, I felt good about the Dolphins over. You're like, you love taking the Dolphins over. I'm like, yeah, they're just a fun offense. They hit the over in the first half. That has never happened to me. That was wild. They ended up, the poor Broncos, nothing goes their way. And honestly, it wasn't even Russell Wilson. Let me look what he's doing. He was 23 of 28 for 306 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception. That's a totally fine stat line. Like, it's not amazing. Yeah. Broncos just looked terrible. And so the Dolphins were the first team to put up 70 since, oh, look, I thought I took it down in notes, but I want to say it's like in the 60s. They had 700 yards.
Yeah.
4 touchdowns.
They missed it by 3, right?
Yeah.
Like the NFL record?
But set a Dolphins franchise record. Ridiculous.
I'm telling you what, both of the fantasy backs, both got above 45 points.
Because they both had 4 touchdowns.
That is, whew, man, you could just take the whole Dolphins offense, I guess. But
I mean, you did get your first win, though. Let's acknowledge it. Let's tip our cap to it.
In fantasy?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, both leagues.
Oh,
And
both
in our
leagues.
league, it was neither one of us wanted to win.
2-0,
right?
2.
And I think I won with like 115 maybe. Neither one of us wanted it. And by the way, can we talk about how I'm going to kick you out of our league?
Why?
Because you scored 209 fantasy points.
Because your 2 daddies are the only undefeated teams left?
I've played fantasy for a long time. I don't know if I've ever seen 209.
That's what happens when you get the script. You just got to run with it.
Whatever.
What?
It pisses me off.
Well, I'm sorry for you. That's brutal. Well,
Whatever.
let's talk about what we are actually excited about. That's Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. I got some thoughts for you because I've been reading comments. There's a lot of love. It seems like the universe, this might be the thing that's bringing the world together. Who knew?
Yes.
But this might be the most unified I've seen the world in a very long time, probably 20 something years. But some thoughts on it. I've been seeing a lot that everyone's saying that Travis Kelce could be great because he can handle Taylor Swift's stardom and how she's on top of the world. And Joe, or whatever his name, Joe Alwyn, was living in, or couldn't handle living in her shadow. I have a theory for you. You ready for this? I think this is why it's perfect that Travis Kelce is a tight end, not a quarterback. Because people have been saying it's like, oh, the only parallel could have been like Tom Brady or something like that. One,
Yeah.
Travis Kelce's little brother, so he's used to taking it. 2, he's the tight end, so he's the hype man for the quarterback. He makes Patrick Mahomes look so much better. And so he's just ready to plug and play and just be Taylor Swift's hype man. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's not quite the same ego level that comes from a quarterback. He's down in the trenches.
Oh, I
yeah.
like that.
So that's one
like
little
that.
philosophy that I had. And so far, I haven't seen that one out there. So that might be the only interesting thing
I
about
mean,
it.
she was rocking the T. Kels up in the T. Kels suite.
Hanging out with Donna Kels.
Yeah, I mean, she was there for, I imagine her schedule is nutty. She made time. She went to the game. I read that Kelce let Mahomes know on Friday, like very casually. It was like, hey, just letting you know, like I might have like someone come and see the game on Sunday. And I think Patrick Mahomes was like, who is it? And he was like, Taylor
It
Swift.
might be a little distraction. Just the biggest person in the world.
Yeah.
Coming to see.
And then that's why he said he felt a little pressure to throw Kelce a TD, which he did.
Yep. Other thing,
Anyway,
funny, lyric-wise, it's 15 when she's talking about you'll go on to do things like greater than dating the boy on the football team. Now that she's done all those things, she can go back to dating the boy on the football team as queen, as mother.
Ooh.
So I saw that one out there. That one's pretty interesting.
You're saying as like her being a mother?
Well, no, she is mother. That's just like her name to all of us minions in the world. Have you never heard that?
No, I have not.
Well,
I
you
guess
got
I'm
to
not a
start
big-
calling that.
big
Just
up.
like you call me daddy in fantasy football. It's like BMO daddy number 1, JWise, Joe Mama daddy number 2.
Yeah. By the way, my
Feisty.
dad always has a good team, which pisses me off, dude. Every single year.
It's so frustrating because he's number 2 right now in the league, and he has a very, very, very similar team to my other league. So I can't really pull against him. Yeah, it's wild. I don't.
But you'd rather win our league.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I'm like, on one hand, that's frustrating me. On the other hand, I'm like, BMO, man, respect. tip of the cap to you.
He's good, man.
He's good.
Every single year he's up there. It's unbelievable.
It's crazy.
I mean, every fantasy league I've ever been a part of. Football, baseball, like you name it.
That
dude.
is,
I mean,
yeah, unbelievable. The last thing that I'll say about the Taylor Swift before moving on is, do you see the pictures of her riding off in the convertible with Travis Kelce?
No,
It's
I
awesome.
actually
It's
did
like,
not.
I don't know what year it is. It looks like some probably like 80s convertible, top down. He's just like chilling. His one mistake though, and I've seen a lot of people saying this too, is he had right hand on the steering wheel, left hand on the window. It's got to be like left hand on the steering wheel. Other my. Look around, turn the
Thigh.
dude.
Is that what she says? Thigh?
I think it's heart.
I don't think it's hard.
Anyway,
We'll talk.
Anyway, that's what I've got for the Travis Swift Taylor Kelce thing happening today. Next up,
Yeah.
should we just jump into what else do we have coming up? We've got the power rankings. You want to go there?
Oh, you want to do power
Yeah.
rankings?
You want to hit that?
Let's do that.
All right, you go first.
10, Lions. Even though Jamar Gibbs sucks. 9, Cowboys.
What a drop.
Barely made the top 10. 8, Ravens. Ugly loss. 7, Seahawks. 6, Bills. They're out of my top 5. Josh Allen's overrated. Top 5, Packers. Packers are returning to old form, like under Aaron Rodgers.
Do you have Packers at 4?
4, Chiefs. Packers at 5.
Okay.
Chiefs at 4. Pretty fair.
Okay.
I think Chiefs deserve a 4 here. 3, though, I'm going Dolphins. I'm saying with their high-powered offense, I think they give the Chiefs a run for their money this week and take it home
We're playing the Bills, but yeah.
and beat the Chiefs. And then number 2, Eagles. And then number 1, 49ers. I feel like the 1-2 punch is pretty obvious right now.
Okay, that's fair. I'm struggling right now with like 8, 9, and 10.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna go Bengals. Not Bengals. Did the Bengals drop out for you?
They did.
Dang, they got their first win and they dropped out for you. Brutal.
Dude, I'm telling you what, they barely got their first win, but that offense, like the first game, an excuse. Second game, all right. But then, like, look, I have a feeling this calf injury is going to be nagging Burrow, and they're not going to be able to open up the playbook like they want the rest of the year. I still think they slide into a wild card.
Okay.
I think they figured out enough for a wild card. I just don't see them really being the same Bengals. But if Burrow heals a little bit, it would honestly be best for them if he took a couple weeks off.
Could be. The only problem is you could fall into a hole that you can't get back from quick. So it just depends on whether you can recover from it. So I mean, Jamar Chase was starting to get going, which that's like the one glimpse, but they look bad. I was pretty big on the Rams before. Not really. They look bad too.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm struggling with 10 because I've got realistically, I think it's the Browns, but I hate Deshaun Watson. So I'm having a moral dilemma. All right, Browns out because of Deshaun Watson. Seahawks in at 10.
Okay.
9 Packers, 8 Cowboys. You cannot.
9 Packers. Though.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I don't think they're a top 5 team yet. But anyway, Cowboys at 8 because they are just atrocious. Also, I've got a hand up. I made the mistake. I was believing in the Jaguars. They are frauds. Like, hand up, I put them in my picks. I put them high on the top 10 power rankings.
Yeah.
They're frauds. I'm not above admitting that. So anyway, Cowboys 8 because they just look terrible. Lions at 7. Ravens at 6. It's hard for me because of the injuries. I think they're a good team. Overtime loss. Man, whatever. Don't feel great about it. Bills at 5. They're starting to look hot. I think the game 1 was just a lot with the Jets, Aaron Rodgers going down. I think they're cleaning up. One thing I got to say, though, Josh Allen just throwing 1 touchdown and then winning, what was it, 37-0? That was crazy. That was unreal. Then 4, the Eagles. It could be 3, it could be 4. But the Eagles are so close.
You must have Dolphins at 3?
No, I got the Dolphins. Well, I'll get there in a minute. I think that the Eagles are so close to being incredible, and I think that I'm judging them off of that scale. So it's probably not fair. I'm judging them off where I think they should be, and I think they should be a solid 2. They're getting the job done. So there's that. Chiefs at 3. Really, Eagles could have flipped with them. It could be either way on that one. But they were starting to get the offense clicking, and then you know how it is when Kelce and Mahomes, and especially if Taylor Swift's there. I think that was the real thing that separated them. If Taylor Swift's there to be the superpower, keep going. Number 2, Dolphins. I don't care if it's the Broncos. 70 points is nuts. When you take your starters out before the fourth quarter, this isn't college football. Like their offense is explosive, and defense isn't terrible too. So when you have 700 offensive yards and 10 touchdowns, like. Again, we'll see the real test this weekend, but for right now, they're 2. And then 1, 49ers. They just look complete. Again, a little bit can be said in the same way that I did about the Eagles, where their red zone defense or red zone offense could have been a little bit better. But like all in all, they look more complete and mistake-free. Because that's the other thing. Right. Like the Eagles made a lot of mistakes Monday. Like they got lucky when they had the turnover. Or really, it's just turnover.
Yeah. Well, they picked off Baker, then they picked off Hurts, and they forced a fumble.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Yeah. A little harsh on the Eagles, but
I'm grading them. It's unfair, but I see the potential in them. So I'm grading them on a curve where they're on the top.
So you have 3 AFC teams in your top 3.
No. 49ers and NFC.
First, sorry, 49ers, yeah.
So I've got NFC 1, AFC 2, 3, NFC 4.
I do want to talk about... I know this wasn't really playing, but I want to talk about rookie grades real quick.
Oh, yeah.
And we should do it next week, like more official grades. But I just have a comment here.
Let's hear it.
That here we are bashing like CJ Stroud, right? And the quarterback class, dude. CJ Stroud is having arguably the hottest start of an NFL rookie QB.
I mean, last week against the Jags, that was, and right now I'm so upset at the Jags. I think that they're because they're frauds. But still, you're right. You do have to give them. I literally said that they were garbage last week, so I'm having to eat my words.
He's thrown for 906 yards in 3 games with 4 TDs and no picks.
Yeah, and again, there should have been some that were picked, but still, they weren't.
Still
counts.
But yeah, he's the leading favorite right now for Rookie of the Year. All right, early odds, but
all right.
Yeah, Bryce Young once again, and of course he gets injured. Like, gosh, dude.
Mm-hmm. I think that's good for him, honestly. What? Panthers fans have been kind of brutal since we lost the Super Bowl to the Broncos.
Well, that's because, as we talk about, like they just expect him to have 350 yards and 4 TDs.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're in game with Bryce Young, then this is best for him, I think.
And then Shaq's gone, dude. Panthers.
Dude, that was bad. That was heartbreaking. I love watching the way that Shaq plays. So, anyway.
Yeah. So, anyway, Panthers suck.
Fair. Picks of the week, though. Last week, you flipped the picks, and it was looking hot at first because Bama, you said originally want to say Bama wasn't going to cover. Then they covered by 14. It's supposed to be 7, so you won that one. Then Oklahoma versus Cincy, it was a 14-point game, and you said, and the spread was 14.5. So that one's just kind of unfortunate.
So stupid.
Then Falcons cover versus the Lions. You were spot on thinking the Lions were the real deal. I remember you like making a joke about that when you flipped it. So you would have been better there. And then the Saints versus the Packers. Saints were up 17-0 before Cart got hurt. So, you could have been onto something there. Your reverse gut.
Whatever.
Whatever.
I lost 2 like really stupid picks.
And then last game you did win. Browns will cover at 4.5. So.
Yeah. What you got, 3-2?
Yeah, I went 3-2. So I had the Chargers Vikings over 53.5, and that game was I think 52. Then Bills cover, easy. Jags covering, which, again, told you hand up. I was completely wrong. I thought their offense was just stuttering a little bit against Kansas City. No, they're frauds. Everything I've said about Trevor Lawrence all along was right.
You're a big one-game guy.
No, it's 2 games now. They've had one decent game 1.
Yeah, but they played the Chiefs the other time, didn't they?
Yeah, but, I mean, they didn't score a touchdown. It was 3 field goals. And then... I agree that there's definitely, I'm harsh on one game, but when that one game's against the Texans, I feel like you deserve to get graded harshly.
I don't know, man. Texans.
Dude, maybe they're going to be number 1 on your list next week. We'll just have to tune in and see that. And then, so the Dolphins, Broncos, I mentioned that earlier. It was 48.5 and they covered in the first half. Then FSU covers 2.5. And they had 7, so 3-2. Fine. Not a great week. But here we are.
So, do you want me to go first again, or you want to go first?
Why don't you go first? I've been talking. I'm tired of hearing myself talk.
Yeah, I'm tired of hearing you talk too.
Thanks.
So I got Notre Dame to cover against Duke, -5.5. They're
I
favored.
don't hate that.
I think Duke's pretty good, but I think they're overhyped right now.
Yeah.
And I think Notre Dame will calm them
They're
down.
like, what, 17 right now? I agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the Vikings cover the Panthers. I'm taking anyone to cover against the Panthers now every week. So Vikings to cover -3. Vikings are 0-3, by the way.
Yeah, it's a matchup of 0-3 teams. And the spread's, I think, 3.5
Yeah.
or 3 or something like that.
Yeah. And then I got the Dolphins to cover 2.5 against the Bills. Yeah. They're actually underdogs.
Yeah, because it's in Buffalo.
Yep. So I like the Dolphins to cover. I like the Cowboys to cover as well to bounce back. -7 is the line versus the Patriots. I like them to cover the -7 here, bounce back after a really defeating loss against the Cardinals. They looked awful. And then number 5 is tough for me. I'm either going the Eagles to cover or Colorado to cover.
What's the spread for Colorado?
24.5 against USC right now. And I think Deion Sanders is not going to lose badly twice in a row. But USC is also a very good team.
I don't know. If Travis Hunter was there, it might make a difference to me.
I'm going to go with my gut because I just don't think the Commanders are that good either this year.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Eagles to cover.
All right. I've got 6 right now, and I'm trying to decide what to narrow down. This is the one that I should narrow down, but I'm not going to do it. South Carolina's going to cover +7, +11, not a 7. That's not even English. +11 on the road against Tennessee.
I'm fading that.
All right. Again, I don't hate that. Okay, and then this one I'm going to come back to because I'm not sure. Okay, Dolphins, Bills over 53.5. I like that.
There you go.
I'm going to ride it until they prove me wrong. Bengals. I'm a little bit nervous about this, but I like them to cover 2.5 against the Titans. I was assuming everything's good with Joe Burrow, which I can't do, so I'm just going to, hope. So that's what I've got there. Okay, Kansas City, 9.5 against the Jets. I like that. And then I've got to decide. I've got Rams money line versus Colts, and then Ravens money line versus Browns. I'm gonna go Ravens, I think, against the Browns, because I'm sticking with my heart. I'm keeping the Browns out of the top 10 because of Deshaun Watson, so I'm going to bet against them because of Deshaun Watson.
Is it at Cleveland?
I believe so.
Ravens have so many. Dude, I feel like that's a story with the Ravens.
It is. I don't know what's going on with their strength and injury and everything else.
I don't know.
I'm going to make it cover.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
they're going to cover there. Anyway, that's what's happening. I do not feel great about this week getting that out there. I went with my heart a lot more than my head.
Fade. Hopefully I get the fade right.
Yeah. Anyway, let's toss it to Mr. Incognito. Let's see what he's got for us today.
What's up, guys? Mr. Incognito checking back in for week 5 of college football. A little slower of a week with not as many ranked matchups, but I think we still have some good games and some potential upsets coming up. So first one is number 19, Oregon State, hosting number 10, Utah. Oregon State's coming off of a very close loss to a very good Washington State team. And Utah is coming off a 14-7 win against a not-so-great UCLA team. I think Oregon State has a pretty good team. I think they take the win on this one. Number 2, we got number 22, Florida, traveling to Kentucky. Florida just had a really tight game with the Charlotte 49ers, who aren't that great of a football team. They had it in the swamp. They didn't score a touchdown after the first quarter. And I think traveling to Kentucky to face a road test, I think they lose that game there. We have Duke, who's number 17, traveling to number 11, Notre Dame. Notre Dame just came off of a really close loss to Ohio State in a game where they pretty much had the game wrapped up and kind of blew it. They had 10 men on the field for the final play and lost it in a pretty embarrassing way there. I think they beat the Duke Blue Devils, who so far have only beaten a Clemson team who has proven to not be very good so far. Finally, we have the South Carolina Gamecocks traveling to Tennessee to take on the Volunteers. Now, South Carolina has had a couple of really tough games. They're battle-tested. You can see their offense coming together really well. Tennessee so far has only had one true test against Florida, and they lost that game. I think South Carolina goes into Knoxville and beats the Tennessee Volunteers in Neyland Stadium. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. Take those picks to the bank. Have a good week, guys.
Hot takes, as always. I like it. Double down on it.
I love his voice.
Yeah.
I just love his voice.
It's just so natural and authentic, and he's just trustworthy. You just feel like you know him.
There's something about his voice that just makes me want to fall asleep.
I thought you were going to say fall in love. All right. Toss it to Iceman here.
What's up, everybody? This week's Unsung Hero goes out to Sepp and Sabina Cuss. Yes, that's my daughter right behind me. And like every child, their parent is their number one fan. Joe, your mom is obviously our podcast number one fan because she sent this story to me and said, hey, Trey, this might be a good idea for an Unsung Hero. And I said, it sure is. You're absolutely right, as normal. And so as I start reading through his story, I get to learn about a guy named Sepp Cuss and his mom, Sabina. Sepp has just pulled off an incredible feat. He has won the Spanish Vuelta. For all of you people who are tacked into this right now, you all know, cycling, but I had no clue. Sepp has just won one of the 3 grand tours across Europe. The Tour de France, most people are familiar with and spend a random July morning watching. But the other 2, the one in Italy and this one in Spain, people are a little less familiar with. Now, just a little background. For the Spanish Vuelta, you get the red jersey when you're the leader. Well, guys in Sepp's role for these teams, like Vasma Mismo, which is the one he's on, don't really get this kind of notoriety because he's what's called a domestique, which means he's the pace setter. He's the guy that sets the pace for the guys that will eventually have a chance to win. But Sepp messed around and he won himself a stage, which is where his mom rolls in. Because while she's hiking the Dolomites with her friends, she gets to stop knowing Sepp's in this race, and so she checks her phone to the Wi-Fi. And her phone starts blowing up with texts, congratulatories, whatever it may be, from all over the world. And she realizes, oh my goodness, I might need to start trying to watch this. So as they go to each little stop, she's checking into the Wi-Fi, connecting, and making sure she's keeping up to date. Well, after a while, she realizes that Sepp might have a shot. And so as it gets into the final week of the race, a little controversy steps in where Sepp's teammates, even though Sepp's in the lead, 2 of his teammates win stages and subtract time away from Sepp's lead. I'm going to keep going. Nonetheless, Sepp keeps on rolling, quite literally, and goes on to win the Spanish Vuelta. And where was Mom? She was at the finish line because she stepped off of her hike with friends in the Dolomites to go be there for her son's biggest moment. You guys, being a parent's pretty cool. It's awesome. And if you're Sepp Cuss, your mom's your number one fan. And she gets to be this week's Unsung Hero.
Love that. Love mothers. Also, shout out my mom for love moms in general. Christian loves moms.
Love moms.
Just wow.
Iceman delivering. You know, what I love about Iceman is he delivers the heat. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Like it's an oxymoron, I think, is what the kids call it these days. So
Yeah. Well, anyway, draft time. This is near and dear to my heart. But you got the first pick, which is a bummer. We've got favorite Taylor Swift songs. We're doing 5. What are you about to say here?
Dude, you know what I'm doing? All Too Well 10-minute version. Like there's not another number one pick out.
Am I allowed to
Taylor
take
Swift.
All Too Well regular version?
No.
Fair. This is hard because I feel like there should be a space after number 1. But okay, I'm gonna stick in a similar vein that just gets my spirit soaring. I'm gonna go Long Live with the top pick. What an emotional feel-good song.
I'm going to go one that arguably made a dent in my childhood, and that's You Belong With Me.
Mm-hmm.
If you can see that I'm the one. I used to be like, I used to make believe that I was the girl, and he would pick me and stuff.
We need to find the video. Christian showed me this video of him. What, you were like 15? Looks like a 6-year-old, definitely pre-puberty, dressed up as Justin Bieber when Usher discovered him, like that period of his life. He's got a 5950 sideways falling off his head, definitely chains on, and was singing with his eyebrows. I don't know if you were saying words or not, but your eyebrows were singing.
Boyfriend.
It was something. So clearly that person was in love with You Belong With Me. And so was everyone else in South Hill. It's not even fair. Not even fair. All right.
Yeah.
This is tough. Too many good songs. I'm going to go probably a surprising number 2. And I'm going to go with The Last Great American Dynasty. Because that is just incredible songwriting. It's catchy. It's fun to listen to. But the story that she tells in 3 minutes or whatever, insane. Well done.
Wait, what do you say?
The Last Great American Dynasty.
Oh,
Again,
okay.
it's like a surprising pick too, but I just very much respect that song and the songwriting behind it.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I'm just going like bangers from when I was younger. And I feel like Three's Love Story. Like just another.
You are going bangers. We're going
solid
very
banger.
different routes, which will be interesting to see. Interesting to see what people like.
I mean, I just remember like, high school, a little bit of college, still here and there, just like banging these songs out.
Okay. Cruel Summer coming in at 3.
Number 4, a little bit. This is not quite as mainstream for
Okay.
me. Shocker. But it's Wildest Dreams.
Yes. I love that song. In fact, when I was making my list,
Good song.
I had an alternate. That was the alternate for my number 4, which is Style.
Oh,
Another
I like
banger from
Style, too.
1989. So
Yeah. And then to cap it off, number 5, I have to go with a song that arguably introduced me to Taylor Swift. And that's Our Song is Slam Screen Doors.
going back to the self-titled OG album.
So good.
All right. That's good. That's good. This is difficult. Mother's written too many bangers. Too many just perfect hit songs. She's too good of a songwriter.
It kind of freaks me out you call her mother. Like, I honestly, that kind of freaks me out.
Good. It's the respect we need to show her. Too many good songs. All right, I'm going to do this for dramatic effect. I'm throwing 3 out there, and I'm going to pick one. Back to December, love it. Bejeweled, Shimmer. And the winner is State of Grace.
Oh,
Coming in hot with the drums. Love Red. What a great album, too.
you could tell that you are more of like a diehard Taylor Swift fan by knowing all of these like different songs. But I'm just more of a mainstream guy.
Yeah, but you can respect her. You don't have to be at the Era Tour to respect her. You know?
Like Travis Kelce said, I saw you rock Arrowhead. Now watch.
Now
Why don't you watch me?
and see which one's more lit. That was kind of cringe, but
That was lit. Why don't you watch me and see which one's more
that's wild.
lit?
That's wild. Honestly, I wish this draft had like 30 picks in it though. It's unfair.
Yeah, dude. I didn't realize she's released 200 and some songs.
She's an incredible songwriter.
Gosh, there's no way she writes every one.
I remember watching a clip from Ryan Tedder, who's written so many songs. I think he sold his music catalog for like 200 million last year or so. Anyway, they were writing before 1989 and were writing Welcome to New York afterwards. And they were just sending like voice memos back and forth. And she sings the chorus like as it is. And she's like, I don't know, what about something like that? He's like, what do you mean? You just like wrote the song. You just finished it. Like anyone that I know that outside, obviously, I'm not saying this as I don't respect her because I do. Anyone else that I really respect as a songwriter has talked about how much they respect Taylor Swift. I feel like that's such a misconception that people think because a lot of pop stars don't write. And so they just assume Taylor doesn't.
No, absolutely not.
I mean, the lyrics.
I know I wouldn't write my own songs.
Yeah, why would you?
I'm the performer.
Yeah.
You know?
You were made
I'm
to
the guy
shine.
who gets on stage. Yeah. I want the guy. I'm going to start doing the Dougie on stage.
We got to find the outro or the video of you as Justin Bieber circa.
I'm not sending it.
Oh, I'll find it.
No.
I'll find
No,
it.
you won't.
I'll hit the message board. Hit up BMO on the message board.
You might have it.
Peace.
Peace.